You've heard about Luka's continued rise to stardom, about how Dennis Smith Jr. is back and playing good defense, and how the Mavericks still have one of the worst road records, but one of the best home records in the NBA. Here are 10 things you may have missed from the Mavs over the last few weeks. So we've been through the idea that DeAndre Jordan and the Mavs are freezing out Luka, but there's still some weird moments where DeAndre gets a defensive rebound and won't pass to Luka. And there's no better example than this moment against the Thunder, where DeAndre grabs a board and double clutches before throwing the ball down court to Maxi Kleber, who was turned the other way, all while Luka was standing right next to him. It was a very weird moment. And now, this is not an exclusive event. There are countless examples of DJ passing to Luka after a rebound. And DeAndre has done this to other players, like Barea here. One of the reasons this happens is that DeAndre is trying to survey the floor to push the ball up in transition. Sometimes it makes sense if you think about it like that, but it does happen specifically to Luka a lot. Like, you just can't explain why DeAndre would pass to Wes, only for Wes to pass back to Luka here. And if you think that's weird, it happened again in the very same game with Jalen Brunson and Luka. This is still a really weird thing that's happening with the Mavs. You've seen guys like Kevin Garnett famously swat a shot attempt after their ball is whistled dead, but have you ever seen a point guard do it? That's the kind of hops Dennis Smith Jr. has to just casually hit this, and he's done it before too. Mavs color analyst Derek Harper continues to try and push the Matador as Luka's nickname, and Mavs fans are rightly not about it. Apparently, now the Mavs have even filed a trademark for the nickname The Matador as well as El Matador, which is problematic in more ways than just being a bad moniker. Alright, so first of all, Luka is from Slovenia, not Spain, and Matador really makes me think of Luka as being a turnstile of sorts on defense, which is not really an image you want unless you're the Bugs Bunny type of Matador. At the beginning of the season, Luka wasn't dishing out assists at the rate I was expecting. While I may have been drawn in by all the highlight videos, there was an adjustment period that Luka seems to have pushed past, but some of it wasn't his fault. Over Luka's first 23 games, he averaged 4.1 assists and 9.1 potential assists. A potential assist is a path that could become an assist if the receiving player makes a shot. So over Luka's first 23 games, he missed out on about 5 assists per game because his teammates missed shots. Over Luka's last 12 games, he's averaging 6.8 assists and 10.3 potential assists. So he's only missing out on 3.5 assists per game now. Luka's teammates are making more shots, which could be a result of better passing or adjustment, but it's just a positive trend nonetheless. One of the most suggested lineup changes that Mavs fans want the Mavs to make is moving Wes Matthews to the bench in favor of Dorian Finney-Smith. A lot of fan suggestions are just impulsive, emotional decisions, but this one actually has some numbers to back it up. If you consider the starters to be Dennis, Luka, Harrison Barnes, and DeAndre, the 5-man lineup with Wes Matthews in the starters has a net rating of negative 8.1 in 230 minutes. But that lineup with Dorian in place of Wes has a net rating of positive 3.4 in 133 minutes. That's an 11.5 point difference. It's a small sample size, but enough to prove it's a viable lineup. And what about the bench? If you consider the Mavs bench to be Barea, Devin Harris, Maxi Kleber, and Dwight Powell, that group with Dorian Finney-Smith has a net rating of 12.7 in 93 minutes. But that group with Wes Matthews instead of Dorian has a net rating of 40.8. Now that's just in 15 minutes. But this 5-man group of Barea, Jalen Brunson, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, and Wes has a net rating of 26.8 in 25 minutes. So moving Wes to the bench might help out both units. Dorian's length helps the starters, and Wes can bring some playmaking off the bench. The Mavs have a pretty bad turnover problem. Luka and Dennis are blamed for the bulk of the damage, but there's another Maverick that deserves some of the credit. There are only 44 players in the NBA averaging 2.4 turnovers or more per game, and DeAndre Jordan is one of them. And of those 44 players, DeAndre Jordan has the lowest usage percentage. DeAndre also has the 4th highest turnover percentage of any player that has played at least 500 minutes this season. The Mavs have allowed DeAndre to make some plays, and he's thrown some great passes, but a player with a usage rate as low as DeAndre shouldn't be turning the ball over as frequently as he's doing right now. There's very few things that happen during every single Mavericks game. Luka will hit a step back 3, Carlisle will have a sad look on his face, and Mavs head video coordinator Mike Shedd will wink right at the camera right after his halftime interview on Fox Sports Southwest, which I've heard is a sign to his family at home that he loves them. And now, I've seen it so much that it feels like he loves me too. You may have heard or seen me call Barea and Devin Harris the Ice Climbers because of how badly they seem to play without one another, but Dwight Powell seems to have taken that idea to another level with Maxi Kleber. When Maxi and Dwight play together, they have a net rating of positive 15.0 in 323 minutes. But when Dwight Powell plays without Maxi Kleber this season, he has a net rating of negative 17.5 in 180 minutes. Good lord. 180 minutes is enough for me to wonder whether or not they should be connected like the actual Ice Climbers are. On November 24th, DeAndre Jordan was asked to do the unthinkable: shoot a technical free throw. For the first 9 years of DeAndre's career, he was a 43% shooter at the free throw line, one of the worst marks in NBA history. But this season, he's become an above-average shooter at times, until he was asked to shoot this technical free throw. Before that game, DeAndre was shooting 78.1% from the line, and since then, he's shooting just 63.2%, and it's continuing to drop. It may have been funny at the time, but it also may have cursed him. And finally, I'll leave you with Marv Albert attempting to pronounce Luka Doncic in as many ways as possible.
Luka Doncic, 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 Luka Doncic, 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 Luka Doncic.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter @NickVanExit, and subscribe to the Locked On Mavericks podcast wherever you get your pods. Thanks for watching. Boom.